Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Girls Frontline reaction. Today we have the theater phases 1 and 2. This wasn't really requested by too many people. It was just one comment with like no likes on it, but I needed a Girls Frontline song. I had a spare day in my schedule and I'm like, I haven't gotten to Girls Frontline in a hot minute, so let's listen to some of that. Found this one, but I could not find an upload of both individual themes, like both phases, for some reason. Like, I could find the one, but I couldn't find two, or at very least anything I could believe was like confidently two. So I'm going to be using this stitched together version from Lloyd Dunamis, and I know that it's not going to be perfect. They did have like some timestamps in the description of like when things happen, but pretty much I'm just going to listen to it for a couple of minutes. I'll get both themes in both versions, and hopefully the transitions are smooth enough I'm able to figure out what's going on, but I just don't want to hear it. So it's interesting seeing the title theater theme, and I'm not sure what that means really, so I don't know where to go with this one or what I should expect, so I guess I won't know if I don't start. So without further ado, let's go. Ooh. Got some really bouncy synth in there. That's boingy. So far, I'm getting just kind of... It's like Call of Duty lobby vibes from this. Very fitting, given the content of the game. I really like that snare sample. Very crispy. A lot of good decay on it. This is really chill. I didn't know what to expect going in, but it's a good vibe. I'm supposing it is a lobby theme. Maybe that's what the theater is. Maybe that's like what they call the lobby in the game. I don't know. Lots of good atmosphere stuff just thrown into the top end, letting it dangle above everything else. Still love that snare. It's got a really good crispy crack to it. Ooh. Oh. That was a little different. This must be the second phase then. Maybe a bridge to it? Got some subtle breakbeat stuff happening in the background there. Very subtle. I appreciate the percussive setup. Like, they changed it between these two versions, and that makes a world of difference. It's a good way to evolve a song. Now I'm just listening to things in the background, trying to like pick apart certain sounds. A lot of just synth noise in the background. Lots of stuff just holding over and just long drones of synth. I think that's about, yeah, okay. I'd say about 5 minutes is pretty good for that. All right, so let's get into my thoughts about it, shall we? So, like I was kind of saying, this feels very lobby. I'm not positive that it is a lobby theme of sorts, but I'm assuming they're using theater in that way because you can use theater in that way. It can be used as a term to describe some sort of a prep station or an area of getting things together before going out, like setting the stage, quote unquote, in a theater, quote unquote. It all goes with that same concept. So I could totally see that being the case here, especially since I'm not sure if that is like a militant terminology that's used, but I would not be surprised. But there's not really much I can actually say when it comes to like music theory and talking about the music composition for a song like this, because it's basically just setting the mood. It's a placeholder for your mind. It's getting you ready for the other music and the other events to follow. So it has to be something that's kind of mildly thought-provoking. It starts to activate neurons in your brain. It gets you prepared for what will be a much more emotional journey going forward. But it does set this atmosphere of, okay, we're all in this hangar ready to go, getting our stuff together at very least. And it works like that. There's a lot of things in this sound, like I said, it feels very Call of Duty, that have been around for decades in the gaming space, and they all kind of handle the same process mentally. They go for this atmosphere that's very synth heavy because it feels pseudo-futuristic, it feels a little aggressive, there's a lot of tonality in here that kind of adds tension, even if the sound itself isn't adding tension in the tone, like in the notes being used, it's setting that tension in the sounds used. Like all these synths, for example. Synths are very aggressive, they're very sawtoothy, they have a lot of just aggressive edge to their sound profile. So they're great for setting the scene in the mind of somebody who's about to go to war because they add this sort of air of mystery and wonder, but also just this aggravation that you cannot get away from. And like I was mentioning in here, I do like how they handle the drums in this. It's pretty subtle, but they do change up that beat, which isn't so subtle. But how they do it is kind of nice, just doubling it up and like adding just one or two measures of these bridge hits in here. And I'm not sure if that's exclusively because of the uploader and how they cut things together, but I think that works pretty well because it introduces that change up that then holds the snare hit on a different beat. So it changes up your expectations. It kind of challenges what you've been getting comfortable with up to that point. And I'm not sure entirely why there would be phases in a lobby theme. That's the other thing that made me kind of wonder if that's what's going on here, because I've never heard of a lobby theme that has phases, so I don't know if that's actually what's going on, but nonetheless, it's really nice to hear a song that is so kind of naturally flowed through to the second phase. And I mean that, I've said it before, but in this one, I more mean it's completely neutral. Like, the only thing that really changes in here is the percussive element. The rest of the sound kind of stays exactly the same. There's a very stagnant energy to this. Again, that would work for a lobby, but when you change up the rhythm, it can change up your expectations, the feel, how the song is going to be processed, and how much energy your mind is putting into it in that moment. Doubling up that snare hit makes you kind of jump out of that stagnant mindset, and you start to prepare yourself for something different. Even if it's a subconscious difference, your brain starts to rewire its perception of the situation. This gets into a lot of like weird psychological bullshit that I really don't want to dig into when it comes to that, but it's pretty obvious when you get down to it. When you play something different than what you've been hearing for the past who knows how long, that will wake up your brain and make you start expecting a change because there has been one. But otherwise, I don't have much to say about this one. It was just more the psychology of that atmosphere and how things work in these themes, which is nice to talk about because I don't get many lobby themes like this. The ones that I've heard from other games are usually a bit more thematic to whatever event they're covering, so I'm not used to hearing something that's kind of so straightforward with being a lobby theme, and it allows me to talk about that, so it's kind of nice actually to have that opportunity. But if you have any other songs from Girls Frontline you want me to listen to, any other character themes or any other like event themes that happen, I'm not super in the know with Girls Frontline, so I'm not positive on how they handle their music really. I've heard a couple at this point, but I still am very new to that scene, so if you have any other songs, leave them in a comment below and I will do my best to get to them. I'll probably have another gap in my schedule in the next week or so if you want me to get to that, maybe this will be the one. And of course, if you just like this video and you want to follow me and support me for other stuff I do, you know how to do all that, and I will see all of you in the next video. Goodbye!